If you're working toward Grow NJ Kids goals, you're already managing a lot. Standards, documentation, coaching cycles, classroom practice, family engagement. It's complex work. And one of the most common patterns across programs is this. Too much of that complexity sits with one person. That's where implementation teams come in, not as an extra task, but as the structure that makes the work doable and sustainable. From a systems perspective, Grow NJ Kids is not asking for isolated improvements. It's asking programs to consistently implement practices with quality over time. That requires more than effort. It requires infrastructure. Implementation teams are part of that infrastructure. They create a place where planning, problem solving, and decision making happen in a coordinated way. Instead of reacting to requirements one at a time, the team looks at how everything connects. What are we trying to improve? What's getting in the way? What's working that we should be building on? Without that structure, even strong programs can stall, not because people are not capable, but because the work is fragmented. Implementation teams reduce that fragmentation. An implementation team is not just a group of people who meet to check in. It has defined functions. It actively supports the use of effective practices. That means the team is identifying priorities aligned to Grow NJ Kids standards, creating clear, realistic action steps, monitoring whether those steps are actually being used in classrooms, and adjusting when something's not working. This is important because adopting a new practice is not the same as implementing it well. Implementation requires follow through, feedback loops, and adjustment. That's very difficult to do alone. A team makes that possible. There's also a sustainability issue to consider. If one person holds the plan, tracks the data, communicates expectations, and solves problems, the system depends on that person being available at all times. This is not a stable system. Implementation teams distribute both knowledge and responsibility. Multiple people understand the goals. Multiple people are tracking progress. Multiple people are contributing to solutions. So, even when something shifts, staffing changes, priorities compete, or there are unexpected challenges, the work continues. That is what sustainability looks like in practice. There's also a shift in how the work is experienced by staff. When improvement efforts are driven by one person, staff often experience it as something being asked of them. When there's an implementation team, the work becomes something shaped with them. That changes engagement. People are more likely to commit to practices they helped think through. They're more likely to problem solve when they see their perspectives reflected in decisions. This is not about consensus on everything, it's about meaningful input and shared ownership. So, what does it look like to start? First, think about representation. An effective implementation team includes people from different roles who experience the program in different ways. That might include program leadership, teaching staff, and support or administrative roles. The goal is not to make the team large, the goal is to make it representative and functional. You want people who understand different parts of the system, are invested in the program's success, and can influence or support implementation in their area. Second, get clear on purpose. An implementation team should not just exist to work on Grow NJ Kids. It should have a defined focus. For example, improving instructional practices aligned to specific standards and or strengthening families' engagement systems and or increasing consistency in curriculum implementation. Clarity here matters. When the purpose is vague, meetings drift. When the purpose is clear, the team can prioritize and act. Once the team is formed, the work should stay grounded in a few key questions. What are we trying to achieve? How will we know if it's happening? What support do staff need to implement this well? What do we do if it's not working yet? This keeps the team focused on implementation, not just planning, because the goal is not just to create a plan that looks good on paper. The goal is to ensure practices are actually happening consistently and effectively. Implementation teams are not a bonus feature of strong programs. They're part of how strong programs function. They turn goals into coordinated action. They reduce reliance on any one person. They make continuous improvement something your system can sustain. Incorporating infrastructure that will make your program's efforts sustainable is foundational to the success of your program. And it starts with bringing the right people together around a clear purpose and committing to doing the work as a team. To learn more about the Grow-NJ Kids standards or ways to make sustainable changes to your program, please speak to your technical assistance specialist.